Hi, I'm here to talk about wealth thinking today, and I spent the last 15 years of my life learning everything I can about what makes the difference between the wealthy, the people that seem to have money and time, and the people that seem to struggle financially most of their life. And I think it all started when I heard a quote from J. Paul Getty that said, "The key to wealth is to learn how to make money while you sleep." And I remember thinking about that, money while you sleep, how can you possibly make money while you sleep? And if you can, I'll go take a nap right now because I wanted to get some extra money in my life. I was sick and tired of trading time for money. And that one quote started me on a quest to try to figure out what separated the wealthy from the people that seemed to work hard but didn't seem to generate true wealth in their life. In fact, one of the books that I read was from Robert Kiyosaki called Cash Flow Quadrant. And in there he said the 3 keys to wealth. Number 1, long-term vision. Number 2, delayed gratification. And third, utilize the power of compounding. And when I thought about that, being an engineer by trade, I'm thinking, well, I'm not using any of the 3 because what I'm doing is constantly getting more education, learning to sell my time for a higher price. But the problem with selling time for money is you're constantly, in order to make more money, you're constantly spending more time. If you want more time, you got to be willing to give up money. But the B business owners, they play the game differently. All the wealthy have learned to sacrifice short-term goals in order to accomplish the long-term goals. And let me give you an example. How many people have ever ate a McDonald's hamburger? I mean, if you eat it and you think, well, that's pretty good tasting and all, but I can't believe they've sold billions of hamburgers because I think I could make a better hamburger myself. The secret is Ray Kroc understood it wasn't the McDonald's hamburger that was going to create the passive incomes. It was having a long-term vision and creating a system around moving those hamburgers that was the true secret to McDonald's success. Richard and Maurice McDonald's were the ones that actually started the McDonald's concept, and they had a couple of very successful restaurants out in California. Ray Kroc was a salesman, actually came in to sell some multi-mixers, and he couldn't believe the restaurant that these 2 guys were running. There were cars lined up over a mile deep to get this hamburger from McDonald's. And he looked and he said, why don't you guys expand this and build hundreds and literally thousands of these around the country? And the McDonald's brothers said a very interesting thing. They said, you don't understand, we're making over $150,000 each. And this was in 1952. We're doing pretty good. But I've recognized after doing all of the studying on wealth thinking that one of the biggest enemies of doing great financially is thinking that you're doing pretty good. Well, Ray Kroc, he had a bigger vision. His law of the lid, his lid was much bigger than McDonald's brothers. So he asked if he could start franchising this McDonald's concept out in the Midwest. And he started his first McDonald's in Chicago. In fact, you can still go there today and you can see the McDonald's, the original McDonald's. And he started expanding that. Now, he didn't become a multi-billionaire with his first McDonald's, but what he did is because he had a vision, he worked on creating a system for wealth. That long-term thinking, he understood it wasn't going to be just one restaurant, it was going to be thousands before he'd create that passive income to where every time a hamburger sold, there were pennies going to the Kroc family. But by having that delayed gratification, he built one very successful restaurant, expanded it to the next, expanded it to the next, had a franchise format to where it's very predictable. Every McDonald's you go into, you know, here's the menu, the bathrooms are to the right and the back. He figured out a predictable outcome if you do the steps of the process. So he had a long-term vision, delayed gratification, and the third one, he utilized the power of compounding. And here's the key. 1 restaurant won't make you a millionaire. 2 restaurants will probably not make you a millionaire. But thousands of restaurants where you're making pennies off of a lot of efforts from a lot of people, creating wealth for many other people. It creates pennies for you, but pennies over that many people creates wealth for and millions of dollars in net worth for many people. So that's the secret that the wealthy have done. They have a long-term vision. They delay their gratification and they utilize the power of compounding. How about in your life? When I looked at what I was doing as an engineer, I realized I was not taking advantage of the concepts of wealth creation. I started studying the Bill Gates, the Michael Dells, the Sam Waltons. All of these people were creating long-term wealth by having that long-term vision, delayed gratification, and utilize the power of compounding. What we have to do in our lives is we got to ask the same question. How do we take advantage of long-term vision, delayed gratification, and utilize the power of compounding? When we answer that, we will create wealth like the wealthy.